The Kick-Off Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to the Kick-Off Sports Breakfast Show on Beach FM, and let's talk racing now, and let's welcome into the show from the Ratbags Racing Show, it's Chris Craddock. G'day, Chris.
Yeah, hi Damian. Yeah, good to be speaking again and good to be giving a report on what's happening with racing in New Zealand. I guess a week ago I was a little bit all gloom and doom when their calendar had been released for the next racing season, 2020-21. That was Friday the 15th of May, and real cutbacks everywhere. So since then, I've been on a Zoom meeting of all the harness clubs in the lower half of the North Island, and we're going to continue to progress with our idea that hopefully we can have dual code harness racing at Manawatu Raceway. So we're going to really try and fight for that. On the local scene, it's good to report that thoroughbred-wise, Otaki Maori Racing Club will continue to race at Otaki. So we're really keen to get some harness races there if we can. So our suggestion is on the 2nd of January, which is a real destination date for the Wairarapa thoroughbred code. And traditionally there's been 4 harness races there. We're suggesting in 2021 on the 2nd of January we can have 4 harness racings at Te Nikau, and then 2 days later on the 4th of January we can have 4 harness races at Otaki with the Otaki Maori Racing Club. Of course, we've got to negotiate that with them, but if we're going to have any presence of harness racing at all in the Kapiti region, that looks to be our only chance. Certainly it looks like Taranaki's gone, Harawa's gone, Stratford's gone, Wanganui's gone. So if we're going to get any harness racing in the lower half of the North Island, it's going to have to be at Manawatu, dual coding with the Greyhounds, and hopefully we can get some grass track racing in at Otaki and Te Nikau on those dates. So we've got submissions closed with Rita. That's the transition board, which is basically the old racing board. It's the TAB on the 15th of June. So I'm in another Zoom meeting with all the presidents of the harness clubs in the lower North Island this coming week, and we're going to progress that. So all is not lost there. Winston gave the $72.5 million a fortnight ago, and that's been pumped straight into the industry. Big day for thoroughbreds here in Levin, actually, on Wednesday at the Levin Racecourse. Nearly 80 thoroughbreds ran around in, we call them workouts and harness, jump outs here. Fraser Arrett had actually half the horses there. He's got a massive team, a lot of 2-year-olds there, and of the 13 jump outs that happened, 8 of them won by Fraser's horses. So his are on fire. Certainly, thoroughbred galloping is looking to still get up and running by the 3rd of July, and if anything to go by, well, it looks like there will be plenty of horses available to race here in the Central Districts, and that's going to be alternating between Awapuni and Wanganui in that month of July. But certainly a lot of their traditional dates are still there moving into the new season. So fingers crossed that all gets off the ground. So, a little bit more positive this week. On the local scene, I'm still feeding a horse in a paddock, and that's Raging Whitebait. So that's the young yearling. So he's doing well. And then, of course, the other horses, the Kapiti Express and Buller Whitebait, they're back in work with Doug Gale, and we're really hoping that they have an opportunity to race at Manawatu Raceway, and we could see them racing in January. If not, it's going to be trekking up to Cambridge to race up there. And of course, the first harness meeting at this stage was to be on Friday, the 29th of May, so it's only 6 days away. But would you believe it, at the Addington trials during the week, they had over 200 horses go to the trials. There are a lot of horses getting very close to race fit in Canterbury, so it's already been released by Harness Racing New Zealand and approved by Rita. If they get massive nominations next Monday, which they think will happen, we may have harness racing at Addington on Thursday afternoon, the 28th of May. They might actually have that many horses who want to race coming out of COVID that will have to split it into 2 days. And they've already got approval, as I said, from Rita and Harness Racing New Zealand. So very close to harness racing again. The Greyhounds are going flat out at the moment. Really fingers crossed that we can link in with that here at a district. But yes, everything's looking good in level 2. Of course, on Monday, hopefully, we'll have the relaxation of the restriction on the size of gatherings. But certainly at this stage, there's still no owners or general public going to the races, and Harness are planning on that in a week's time. So, yes, a bit more positive news this week, Damian.
Fantastic, mate. Hey, quick question, as I always do. I had a few friends affected by this with the TAB recently. Now, my thoughts are, because there is a big follow-on effect with betting and how they support other sports in the community, how are we going to see a change there?
Yes. Most of these redundancies seem to be on, as I said last week, on the shop floor. A lot of their presentation work with the racing industry. I think the sports betting is still there. Certainly, trackside radio's gone, and I know that had a very heavy contribution into contributing selections and people betting on rugby and rugby league, and of course that's ready to kick off in a week's time as well. So the funding of sport in general through people gambling in New Zealand, that's still happening, and the TAB, Rita, will continue to offer that as a product.
Good news for all then. Well, thank you as always for the updates on racing, mate. Definitely a better week than last, and hopefully next week's an even better one.
I certainly hope so, yes. But by the time we talk next week, hopefully we may have had a couple of harness meetings have happened, and the greyhounds carry on, and looking forward to the thoroughbreds, and and we'll be living in even less restrictions in level 2, which will all be good.
Here, bring that on. Thank you, Chris. Always appreciate your time, my friend.
Okay, thank you.